Hey, soon as the countdown ends, I just jump right into it.
Yep. As soon as it ends, I think can you hear me? As soon as it ends, y'all three gonna come up on the screen.
And then I can just jump right into the intro. You saying?
Then it's live. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Who's gonna do the intro?
I guess I'm supposed. DC would have done it, but he asked me to do it.
All right. Cool.
All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Sit and Talk Sports Podcast. here on YouTube. Sit and Talk Sports, the intersection of sports and culture. Also, we definitely favor in lifestyle and finance. So please follow the Sit and Talk Sports group on Facebook. Also subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Again, welcome, guys. Again, we have got a great show here today. Here with my fellow guests, C Mills, Wiz. Also got my man Roger, and also my man Aaron here. What's up, fellas? Hope everybody's doing well tonight.
Yes, sir.
What's going on, man?
Awesome, man. Again, got a great show lined up. We're going to talk about a couple of different things. Certainly, the trilogy that we've got in store here tomorrow night, Fury versus Wilder. Incredible card lined up. Also going to talk maybe a little bit of hoops, some football before week 5, I believe. And we'll get to it, man. We'll get right to it. So I just want to go ahead and kind of introduce everybody. And again, we have my man Roger. He's a boxing aficionado, right? Really the what I like to say the go-to in the sit and talk sports realm when it comes to boxing.
Me and Kev Black. I always like to give a shout out to my man Kev. Kev is my deferral too.
Hey, you know what? And again, shame on me for not shouting that out too, Rod. Shout out to Kev. Kev doing some family biz tonight, but definitely wanted to be with us. He's here with us in spirit, and definitely knows his stuff. That's for sure. So shout out to Kev Black. Definitely will tap in with him. Fury versus Wilder, the trilogy. Again, as we know, right, this had some stakes. Anthony Joshua, it's almost like he fumbled the bag, man. Usyk got him good, and now the trilogy ultimately has the stakes of upholding the title of really the face of the division, right? And I could be wrong on that, but it really seems as so now with Joshua taking that L. But then also, right, we've got some youngins in that division as well, and I think this is where we can start to kind of see what these guys are about and see who's ready to step up to the challenge against Fury or Wilder, because ultimately whoever wins will hold that crown. Just some initial thoughts from the trilogy, Raj. What do you think?
So this is like an interesting one, right? So we had the first fight. It ended up in a draw, a very disputed draw. Personally, I thought that Wilder won 2 rounds, and those were 2 rounds he had knockdowns in. So I thought he lost. There may have been a couple of close rounds. I didn't find them as close, but some people thought there was a draw. I don't think anybody thought Wilder won. They had that disputed. He also complained about he should have had a knockdown in the last round, that the count was long, all of that stuff, which to me was nonsense. It's kind of not how boxing works. It doesn't go by seconds. It goes by ref count. So outside of that, it was what it was, right? It ended up a draw. They did it again. Fury got a new trainer, came in with an entirely different game plan, used his size, dominated, dropped them, knocked them out, and then the fun started. Right?
Raj, we also had the Fury excuse for the trainer. We also had the costume excuse for my man Wilder. But go ahead.
We had a lot, so we could list them down, right? So one, he said that Fury's gloves were loaded, that he had egg weights in his gloves.
I don't know if I heard that one. Did I?
Yeah, that was the first one.
one.
Yeah, that was the first one.
Oh man,
his brother came out and said that I'd never been hit like that. and he had a dent in the side of his head, so there was like a meme going where he had like a his head was like caved in on one side, right? And then after that, he said that his trainer was in cahoots, if you will, with Fury's people, and that he stopped it apparently to gain something. Then he said that his trainer poisoned him.
Oh, not the poison.
Yes,
Not the
poisoned his
poison.
water.
Not the poison.
Yeah, he said he put some stuff in his water. And then we had the costume gate.
Costume gate. That definitely costume gate.
Yeah, costume gate. So he said apparently he had the 40-pound suit, and he said the excuse was it took his legs away as he walked to the ring, or that he had it on for a long time. But if you watch the actual broadcast of the fight, while Fury's walking in, he doesn't have the suit on yet. So he didn't have the suit on as long as he wanted people to think, right? So that was another funny one. And then the other one, which we get on in the group about, especially me and Black, was that Fury's gloves not all the way into the glove. His
hands not into the glove. Come on, Rob.
Yeah.
Come on, Rob.
So it says, so they say, so as some argue, is that if he has his hand in his glove, but it's the actual glove part in here, but he doesn't have his hands into the padding. So apparently he has his fist inside where the string is, where you tie it. So in the laces. So and they say, oh, he's cheating, whatever. But as a dude that boxes, that's incredibly stupid for any fighter to do, because first, if the hand is here, if your fist is closed here and you throw a proper punch where you land here, you got this much padding in it now, right? So you got like this much padding in it,
right?
And it's flopping. So one, you can break your wrist because
that's what I'm saying. That makes no sense to me. Like,
right, there's no advantage to it. And if you're hitting and you're hitting like this, you can break your fingers, because when you have all that gauze and the padding and stuff, when you wrap your hands, you can't. Your hands don't close all the way. You're like this. So when you're hitting, you're essentially hitting with your fingers. You could break your fingers. So it doesn't help you at all, right? So because I actually went in. So I got a heavy bag in my gym at the crib, and I went and I tried it myself with my laces. You damn near break your fingers trying to.
You tested it. You actually tested it out, Raj?
Yeah. And there's videos online where they went to actually Mayweather's gym. They went to Mayweather's gym and had him, and they asked fighters around the gym, try this, and they're all like, "Yo, this would be stupid to even do, because you get no benefit of it. You're hitting people with your wrist, if anything, right?" So it's just like, so all this stuff, all these excuses pile up, right? So now they go into the fight. He gets dominated, he gets knocked out, he's beat up for a while. The trainer does him a favor.
It says again, and I quote, "I had a disloyal trainer."
Yeah, disloyal trainer.
I had a disloyal trainer. Okay. Even on my worst day, in the condition that I was in, he couldn't get me out of there. I finished the fight on my feet. I had a disloyal trainer throwing the towel when I told him for many years before to never throw in the towel. You don't throw in the towel on a warrior, a king like myself.
That's well and good, and that's the axiom of boxers. But in reality, it's incredibly stupid. We've had 2 fighters die in 2021.
Facts.
Right? And one dude that just died last week in the bare knuckle league.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So he got 1-punch knockout. They took him to the hospital. He fell into a coma, died earlier this week.
Wow.
So, yo, this ain't something to play with, man.
No.
You're doing this, like, you got to remember what you're doing this for. Any fighter. Yes, you want the glory, you got the legacy, but you're really doing it to put food on your plate.
Facts.
So
hey, like my man Floyd said, once upon a time, Floyd said, protect yourself at all times.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's your job to, yes, you protect yourself physically in the ring, but the people you pay, it's their job to protect you too.
100%.
He did his job. He protected him for this payday he's about to get.
He would not get the payday. He wouldn't have got that payday if he didn't go that route.
He's a good trainer too.
He's an amazing trainer. Olympic
great
medalist.
fight. Yeah, good fighter, good trainer. Just like you said, a bunch of excuses.
Yeah, man. It was bad, man. It was bad. Like it, and for me, and this can extrapolate to other sports, right? When your ego gets into it, and his ego was clearly bruised from it, which is why I think all the excuses came, right? Now you go back in, what's your headspace like? You know what I mean? Like, where you think his headspace is at, eh?
Me personally,
He might have cut out. You cut out, eh? I get you now. Start again.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, my bad. Me personally, where do I think Wilder's head is at?
Yeah.
I think he knows I think he knows he can't win the fight. Like, it's just like I keep telling people, I got Fury winning, but obviously you can never count Wilder out because he's got that game-changing power. But I think
that rocket.
Right. He got that, man. That right hand is a weapon of mass destruction.
Got that rocket.
But the thing is, he's having a hard time hitting Fury. Fury's jab keeps him off balance. And that herky-jerky movement has been effective in both fights. Me personally, I think Fury won both fights. I think it took a lot out of Wilder when he knocked Fury down in the first fight in that last round, and Fury got up. I think
on him to end the round.
Remember, what happened?
He said, and was beating on him to end the round.
Yeah, right. Remember, the very first Rocky, where Apollo Creed knocked Rocky down in the last round, and then he got up and was like, "Come on."
He got up and gave him work.
And Apollo Creed just put his head down, like, damn. Like, I feel like that right there is what happened to Wilder in the first fight. He was like, "Yo, what I got? I can't beat this nigga." And then I think in the second fight, the thing about the second fight is Fury came out a solid month and some change before the fight and said what he was going to do, and he did it all.
Yes, he did.
He did it all.
Yes, he did.
And people say, "Oh well," because I remember people were saying he was too heavy, but he told us he was going to put on the weight because he wanted to work on the power. He wanted to really sit down on his punches because he wanted to knock him out. He wasn't going to leave it in the ref's hands this time. And he came out and he delivered, man. Right. So
he walked him down.
Yep.
Let's just call it what it is. Walked him down. Again, we see here walking him down, but at this point, I'm so impressed with a big 6'9" man with the footwork of a ballerina, just kind of putting on a clinic, right? Just in terms of footwork alone. And for that reason, I'm going to touch on a point that both of you just made. I think Wilder lost the fight when Fury got up. He lost the second fight when Fury got up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He let off that rocket. Mm-hmm. Fury got up like the Undertaker, and he said, and he said, "Holy shit!"
And ended the fight with Wilder moving away from him.
Yes, yes.
That's what it was. Like, let me as a dude that has sparred hundreds and hundreds of rounds, had scraps with dudes, had them.
Raj does this, y'all. Don't get me twisted. Raj does this.
Yo, when you hit somebody with what you got, and he's standing there looking at you, it's demoralizing, bro.
Yeah, it's humbling,
especially when you have the track record that Deontay Wilder has.
Yes.
You know, so I mean, me personally, I think that he's going into the fight thinking like I feel like he's just gonna go in and try harder to knock him out. I don't think that there's gonna be any improvement in his skills.
You seen all the videos though, right?
Yeah.
With him boxing on his toes and jabbing downstairs. You don't think none of that's gonna hold?
I mean,
well, let's do it like this. You think that's gonna hold past 2 rounds?
He might. There's an opportunity that it might, but I don't see it. I just feel like it's all for show. Okay, like
it's gonna come in.
Yeah, man. And then Fury is a hell of a boxer. Like he's skilled. You know what I mean? He's got the footwork. He knows what he's doing in there. I think Wilder, he's got 2-inch reach on him. So I think Fury goes in there, does what he's been doing. I think Wilder's gonna get frustrated within a couple rounds. He's gonna feel like, yo, I gotta knock this dude out. And then he's gonna get desperate. And you can't get desperate with a boxer, with somebody who can box. You know what I mean? Because
someone who's proven that they can punch.
Right. Right.
That's proven that he can hurt you. That's the biggest thing. Like I saw a couple people in the group said that in the first round that they saw that Wilder looked off. And he did look off.
Yeah.
But the reason why I think he looked off is not because his health wasn't good or blah blah blah, all that stuff. His health, he looked off because this is the first time, and if y'all seen this before, any other time that I haven't seen it, let me know. But this is the first time that I've seen Wilder from the start of a fight have to move backwards, and his footwork did not look good. When he had to move backwards,
right?
And that's why he looked bad. It wasn't because he was drugged and he didn't feel good. It's because he does not have the footwork acumen because he never worked on it. Because he had that vaporizer in the right hand, he's always been able to come straight forward because no one's going to stand and trade with him because no one was comfortable enough to stand and trade with him.
One trick.
So they were like, I got to move back. And so he can just step into his power again. You know what I'm saying?
And to that point, I don't actually think he ever had the footwork to really move forward without holding that vaporizer, as you say, as his crutch, right? But in terms of just the skillful balance, I just thought he was always an off-balance fighter.
But here's the strange thing, though, Smooth. Watch him in the Olympics. He had it.
I got to check that out.
He had it. Why? Like YouTube, Deontay Wilder in the Olympics. He pivoted.
I never
did
saw
all
him
that stuff because the Olympics ain't the pros. It's about putting points together.
Yeah, you got to put your points. You got to put your points in.
You know what I'm saying? You got to touch the other guys. Who touches people more?
Yeah.
Right. So at that point, if you just got to do that and you're not really sitting on power, then you're gonna have to adapt and use your footwork. When he got into the pros and realized, dude, I'm literally hitting people 3 times a fight and they out of there.
Yes.
You stop working on it like that. You don't drill the same things anymore. You're not stepping, jabbing, pivoting, right hands, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? You're not doing that anymore. He's just coming forward, 1-1, right hand. 1-1-2, 1-1-2. That's it. Occasional left hook behind it. That's it.
One of the biggest things about fighting is that I feel like there's two types of people in the world. Like there's certain people where that fear is going to make you fight harder. It's all about how you use that fear that you have, or fear can take you out of a fight before you even get in the ring. So
good point.
I feel like Deontay Wilder won a lot of his fights off of fear because they weren't putting the fear into the right, in the right mindset.
Yes.
So, and it's funny because one of my best friend of over 30 years is the biggest Mike Tyson fan. And I always used to tell him, I said, brother, Mike Tyson wins a lot of fights off of fear, and he's not the greatest boxer.
He won them joints at the stare down.
Huh?
He won them at the stare down.
Right. And I used to always tell him, I said, when Mike Tyson fights somebody who can box and ain't afraid of him, he's going to get beat. And that, you know what I mean? And I mean,
And every time he did, he lost.
exactly.
Touche. And again, I don't see it. I just don't see it being any different. I actually think if Wilder catches him early, here's the thing about a trilogy. You fought him in multiple times. You almost know that's coming. So if it comes, it's going to come as really more so he got caught slipping.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually think that Fury is going to do a much better job of doing exactly what he did the last fight.
Yep.
Constantly leaning, using the body weight, right? Just taking down his best weaponry. And then we'll start to see if Wilder can really box.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll see that sooner rather than later. Because I think here's I'll say this quick about Wilder. I think he's smart enough, being that he kind of reshaped the team, as you guys said, right? He's been posting.
He really didn't, though. He just promoted one of the assistant trainers to head trainer.
Yeah.
Well,
so he didn't really change the team.
Well, again, not changing the team per se, but
yeah,
I will say 2 years between fights. You better had worked on something, right? You better have worked. You better had worked on something skillful to beat a guy like that. Because really, if not, this doesn't turn into like, oh, he's in jeopardy of not being the face of the heavyweight division. This goes into him getting hurt.
Yeah,
seriously, because I think Wilder is big enough to where, and skillful enough where he could have a field day if Wilder spent. Fury could have a field day if Wilder spent the last 2 years really not working on his craft, but more so just trying to reshape everything around him.
Yeah. So here's the problem with that, right? So I'm seeing some of the messages come up and they're saying Wilder's going to have to box him. He's going to adjust and blah, 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 all that. So let me give you a scenario. Who's given Floyd his toughest fights of his career? If y'all have watched
Mosley.
Oh, you mean
Mosley had him hurt, but then he dominated the rest of the.
You mean what fighter or what?
Right.
Yeah, like what fighters? So Maidana's one.
Maidana, yeah.
Castillo, Jose
Luis Castillo.
Yeah.
Castillo.
So 2 dudes that went in there and brawled him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think personally, I think Castillo beat him.
Yeah, a lot of people
points because he was also hurt. Floyd was hurt.
Oh, a lot of people think Castillo won that first fight.
In the second fight, he dominated him.
Yep.
He boxed him. He dominated. He didn't try to fight on the inside with Castillo. All of that.
Yep.
Because Floyd did what his strengths were. His strengths are movement, boxing, all of that.
And he kind of got away with it. He kind of got away from that in the first fight.
Right. Maidana, same thing. He got in the inside a little too much with Maidana on the first fight.
Yep.
He still won fairly comfortably.
But there was still,
I think I had it like 8-4 or something like that.
That's exactly what I had it. But you still had your people that thought Maidana won that first fight.
Yeah.
Which I think was ridiculous, but.
Yeah, but there was a lot of close rounds in there. If you really want to go the other way on them, you know what I mean?
And let me tell you
want to give him the benefit of the doubt, you could give it a draw.
Yeah, let me tell you something. Maidana, everybody talks about Mosley. Maidana hurt Floyd the worst he's been hurt in his career.
He did.
That third round.
Yeah, he did.
If that bell didn't go off, Floyd might have been in some shit.
But this is my point,
Popped
right?
his head back a couple times.
How many? So those guys were brawlers. They got in his chest. They threw punches at weird angles from the inside, especially overhand rights, things like that, right? That gets over the Philly show, right? So he had the repertoire that he could just go back to his boxing. The second fight, he just made them stay on the outside and dominated against both of those guys, right? Mm-hmm. Every time Floyd has fought another boxer, he dominated because you can't mess with his footwork and all that stuff. You got to beat him up. It's the only way you have a shot. Right. Now, Wilder has been out here vaporizing everybody, right? He just comes in, brute force. He just knocks the door down. Now, people are like, yo, he's going to box. Tyson Fury is the best pure boxer that the heavyweight division has seen in probably 20 years.
Right. Easy.
Agreed.
Easy.
So you're telling me that Wilder is his chance is going to be to beat the best boxer of the past decade to 2 decades by fighting the same way that fighter has fought for those last 2 decades and dominated.
And we also have to
because
be
his
real.
backup style, it would be Wilder's backup style to try to box and move and blah blah blah. You're not going to beat the best dude at it by using your backup style to do it.
Especially when you only been training at it for a year and some change, maybe. Yes.
And the other thing that Fury presents to everybody, and if any of y'all have ever just like had a street fight with somebody like this and try to punch at somebody or whatever, if any of y'all spent time in the gym, sparred, whatever, fighting somebody tall when you're a power puncher sucks, especially if you're a straight line power puncher, not like Tyson, who used to duck, get inside, you work the body, all of that stuff. Wilder's punching straight. He's punching straight. When you have to punch up past my shoulders to get to my face, it takes power off of your shot. That's why he struggled in the second fight.
And it tires you out. Tires you out more too.
That's a great point.
And the thing is, when a dude that big, if you look at it, what really took his legs, not no poison, was the fact that Fury fought, came straight at him, jabs, overhand right over his shoulder because he's taller. And then what would he do instinctually? What any fighter would do? He'd throw the overhand right. He would duck into him. When he ducked into him, he had 275 pounds laying on him. That's what took his legs.
If you want to be real, man, Fury fought the perfect fight in the second fight. Like he knew exactly. Everybody talks shit because he was so heavy. He came in that heavy because he knew he was going to lay on him and put that pressure on him. And that's what tired him out. And as Raj alluded to earlier, the excuses were out of hand, man. Like it was crazy. And even
denial, Fury, man. Like it's denial. He couldn't process the fact that he vaporized everybody, and all of a sudden he got dominated. He didn't want to believe he lost the first fight.
Because I definitely had him losing the first fight.
You know what I'm saying? He didn't want to acknowledge that he got dominated the first fight.
Man, listen. I knew who won that fight when Fury got up, and even if Wilder went as he went on to win the fight, I knew in any rematch, in any chance, no chance in hell he beats him. Like I knew then.
I don't think so.
I knew then. I'm dead serious. I knew then, and of course it comes to fruition. And to your point about him taking the 2 years or about 2 years, reforming the style, reshaping his whole strategy, right? To that, Fury says, you can go to college and get a master's degree in nearly 2 years. So for a boxer, that's very easy to do. But no matter what Deontay Wilder does, I'm still going to knock him the fuck out in quick time, quick fashion. Like my trainer Sugar Hill says, we just bang and get it over with. He's not coming to play games, fellas. And again, I can't see anything except this. Wilder coming out extremely aggressive, and within 1 to 2 rounds, he tags him.
Catch him cold.
He tags him cold. That's the
only
scenario.
He got to catch him clean because that's the thing. Fury is hard to catch clean.
Yeah.
So because we already saw Wilder has hit him with some pretty good shots. But Fury's been able to take him. And again, I think that's really fucking with Wilder's head, man.
Yeah. And that adjustment that Fury made from the first fight to the second fight, where in the first fight he dominated by backing him up, he didn't wear Wilder out. Wilder's a very conditioned athlete. Like he's a very conditioned big dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But in that second fight, when he was like, yo, I'm faster than him. I got faster feet, even though I'm like 50 pounds heavier. But let me use this weight on him. And it don't matter how conditioned you are. When you got to carry an extra 50 pounds on your back.
Yeah.
When the dude's laying on you, you get close to me, I lay on you. Get close to me, I lay on you. That's something that I was taught when I fought.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. You know, a bigger fighter.
I got that one from when George Foreman's son used to train me when I first started.
The third. Yes.
Yeah. So he was like, yo, man. He's like, yo, when dudes get up under you, get into your chest, he's like, yo, just lay on them.
Yeah.
Just drop on them.
That's one of the early things that they actually teach you in boxing, because You can see what's his name was doing that. Logan Paul was doing that to Floyd Mayweather. Even he knew that.
Yeah, he did.
So
yes, he did.
You gotta use like those are tools you have to use, right? And if you have the footwork, you don't get yourself in that position, and that's where Wilder needed a lot of work. That's where you could see where he was missing. Was that when somebody gets to you like that, you pivot out. You pivot out on your front foot. You turn to the side. You can throw a hook or something like that, but you don't let that weight get on you.
Hey,
And that's how you come out.
Let me take you inside the mind of Deontay Wilder, right? I just talked a little bit about where Fury's head's at, right? He's like, yo, no matter what this dude does, you can go get your little master's degree in skill, all that. I'm coming for you. As we take a look here, yo, listen, that jab, man.
yeah.
That might be the real rocket right there from Fury.
That's a stiff jab, man.
Man, listen. One of the coldest jabs I've seen. But let me take you into the mindset of Wilder. Y'all tell me what y'all think. He says, my thing is that these guys have to be perfect for 12 rounds. I only have to be perfect for 2 seconds. I'm one of the most dangerous, if not most dangerous, fighters in the sport of boxing history with my knockout power, and it doesn't diminish. It goes all the way from the 1st to the 12th, and that's what makes me very dangerous. I think
wasn't there in the 6th round of the last fight.
That mindset is very dangerous for me.
I agree.
Dangerous.
It's terrible. It's a terrible way to think. Because you're like, it doesn't matter how many mistakes I make, I'm eventually going to hit. I'm eventually going to touch you.
Right.
But what if you don't?
But then what if he does? And that's the craziest shit.
No.
It's like, he could.
Two things could happen. Two things could happen. You can catch him cold and he gets back up, which has happened. Or you wait, and a large dude starts walking you down and taking your legs by leaning on you.
Raj, talk to me about some of this form you see when he's just knocking dudes out.
Yeah, I was just about to say that's crazy, man.
Talk to me about some of that form, man, because here's
the thing, right? The form's not bad. When he sits on his right hand, he throws it straight. Sometimes he loops it. He has power on it from different angles, and I will give him this. He has the ability that some of the great fighters have. Like Pacquiao was one of them. De La Hoya's left hook was one of them. They have the ability to change arc mid-punch, right?
Oh, so they can adjust
start right here to throw an overhand, and they react, and then it comes out straight instead of the loop.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
And that's what made those dudes special, because the angles that they threw punches.
Yes.
Prince Nassim was another one.
Yes, and can change them mid-flight.
Yep.
And maintain power. Wilder has that. And it's crazy that like he catches dudes on the end of his punches, because when a dude that punches like that and he's so long, your natural tendency is to back up to get away from it. And that was what Fury did the first fight. Back up and get away from it, dodge it, slip it, get away from it, get under it, but get away. In the second fight, but in the midst of that, getting away, ducking, whatever, that's how he got knocked down twice. The first one, he and Wilder did it like the way the textbook thing I just said. When the whole fight, Wilder's throwing the right hand, he's ducking under it, spinning it to catch it off his shoulder, things like that. On that last one, when he dropped him in the 12th, you see him adjust the arc. So he starts, Fury goes down, he adjusts the arc, he meets him at the bottom of his dip, and he catches him clean on like right above the ear, drops him, boom, dead, right? But he's fresh. His legs are still strong. He didn't have lean on him, no nothing. That arc was maintained and the power was maintained in his legs and his torque. Second fight, when you don't have that, it's harder. You're tired. It's harder to maintain that control of the arc, that control of the straight shot, to maintain the power, that push off the back foot because your legs are gone. And that's the problem. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's happening to him.
I think he has a shot.
Yes,
I will not
absolutely.
say Wilder has
absolutely.
no shot. But
the later it goes, the tougher it's gonna get for him. He's not gonna win anything late.
My goodness, if any of those punches come from where I saw in the previous clip you just showed, where it's literally coming over like as if, you know, Wilder, as if Fury's giving them the Philly shell, right? This is all high arc
Yeah.
stuff. This is all high arc stuff, and it's coming downhill, so it has the ability to get them out cold.
Yeah.
The problem is it's so unorthodox and so slow at times, where it's just slow in the boxing realm of things, where again I just don't think the quick hitch, the quick twitch, the quick arms of Fury, it'll just get the best of him, man.
And not only that, look at most of the guys in those clips that you were showing for Wilder. How many of those dudes were 6'9"?
None.
Right.
When you coming up with the arc and punching downwards, you gain a little bit of steam. You can put a little weight behind it. When you punching up, that arc and that power is not the same, because you're not able to sit and drop it like that. You know what I'm saying? That's why he was able to drop Fury with that in that 12th round in the first one, because he punched downwards. He punched chest level. He caught him perfect. He was able to sit on it. Boom. He didn't have to punch up like he kept having to do in the second fight.
A lot of folks in the group in some of these comments, Raj, think that actually Wilder will adjust, right? And I get it, right? I get it. We've got your classic black heavyweight boxer, right? Versus your white dominant heavyweight boxer. And at the end of the day, I think there's a lot of people that want to see Wilder be successful. Like there's nothing America doesn't like other than a knockout artist.
He's a likable dude.
Oh yeah,
like he seems like a good dude.
No, I believe that.
You know what I'm saying? So like you want him to do well. He seems like a good dude. But competition's competition. You got to go against the dude that's in front of you. And if you're not improving enough, or if you just ain't got it, you ain't got it. You know what I'm saying?
I just don't know if you got the juice. Like you got, for me, boxing is about the juice. You got it or you don't.
It's tough. I don't think so too. It's just the wrong matchup. And the thing, like when people say, "Oh, you adjust and you change styles," generally, historically, dudes that have a certain style and dominate and then get beat, when they change styles, they don't go back to the same guy that destroyed them in the next fight with that new style. They take 2-3 fights, acclimate to this new style, and then go back and try to conquer the dude that took them out. He's going right back in trying to change styles on the fly. That's tough to do. Not impossible, but I find it like this is going to be tough to do.
He was better off letting Fury fight Joshua first, like he was supposed to, and then maybe stepping in there.
It'd have been the perfect thing. No one would have said anything.
No one would have blinked.
They was gonna pay him like 10 to 15 million just to let them fight.
Right, exactly.
And then guarantee him the winner.
Right. But his ego got in the way.
Because in the meantime, all you had to do was take a lower level heavyweight, go in, see how this works in practice, try out this new style that you think you're going to use, try out this footwork against somebody that's actually trying to knock your head off, not like a sparring partner, like an actual dude. Like sparring partners are tough too, but they're sparring partners for a reason.
Right.
They're not ranked opponents and stuff like that for a reason. Right. So you go in and you try this against a fairly high level opponent. You could have got, like a Derek Chisora over in England or a Joseph Parker or something that level that I'm pretty sure.
What's the guy that's fighting on the 15th, Raj? I think it's just a British fight, if I'm not mistaken.
It might be Dillian White you're thinking of.
I think so, yes.
Yep. So Dillian White is not going to fight Wilder because he's up for that title. So he's the mandatory challenger for that title. So any fight that he goes, he's I'm not going to mess up my title shot because that's like he's up for it. Right. So he's going to make sure he doesn't. So he wouldn't be Dillian White. It'd be like a Chisora that Dillian White beat or somebody else like that. And from that point, then you iron that stuff out, see if you need to make any adjustments to your adjustments. Now you're next up. You get the winner of Joshua Fury, big payday. You've already pocketed 15 million to do nothing, plus the money you would have made to fight whoever you're going to fight.
And either one's going to be a big payday anyway.
20, 30 million against the winner. You know what I'm saying?
So So, and again, just as a consensus, it sounds like it's wild. It's Fury's fight to lose.
Yeah.
And Wilder is the guy that's going to have to come in, make the big adjustment.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And make the big splash in order to win this. And again, I wholeheartedly agree. And for what it's worth, Vegas definitely agrees. Tyson Fury is a minus 270 to win this. Deontay Wilder is a plus 220 in Vegas. Just to because this is a pretty good card, right? If you're not just looking at Wilder and
this is if
Fury,
you're gonna watch, if you want to buy pay-per-views,
this is
one
it.
to buy.
This is it.
If you the type, if you ain't on the Fire Stick and you got to pay for it, or if you ain't got the connect on the website, the streaming site,
right?
This is the one that you could buy. Like it's all heavyweights. Early in the day, that's a free card. Edgar Berlanga's fighting. That's the dude, the Puerto Rican kid from
Berlanga.
Yeah, I want to get to Edgar.
The one knocking everybody out
I want to get to Edgar.
Well, except his last fight, he finally
somebody took him pass around.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, and then just on the card, it's 3 heavyweight fights, which I'm shocked that he even made this card because generally they don't make cards.
So Raj, talk to me about real quick. We're gonna get to Edgar because I think that kid, he's special.
Yeah.
But talk to me about FA because I think FA's got a shot at definitely beating him. Because again, I've seen very few Frank Sanchez fights, but I think I've seen more FA, and I think I like him in this fight. Yet he's not the one that's probably perceived to win. Talk to me about that.
So I haven't seen the odds on this, but I would pick
Frank Sanchez minus 180, the favorite.
He's the favorite.
He's the favorite. That's why I was
interesting.
Like, what?
So that's interesting,
right?
So here's the thing, right? So when you go into like boxing politics and stuff, generally speaking, they don't match up their fighters. Top rank, who has Ajagba, and then Al Heyman with PBC, who has Sanchez. They generally don't, but they've worked on this, and I'm surprised that they're matching up 2 of their higher profile prospects. Because generally a fight like that would be its own TV card. It'd be its own main event.
Yep.
So
I thought this would have been on like ESPN, like by itself.
ESPN, Fox.
Right.
Yeah, one of the PBC fights.
They rarely do business like that together. So the fact that you're getting this is legit.
Right.
Sanchez is good, but Ajagba got that fighter racing power, and he has good fundamentals. He's like Wilder, but with better fundamentals, better footwork. He'll set up his punches. He throws them straighter. He doesn't loop them as much. Right? He's not as athletic as Wilder, but I think he could be as, or dare I say, more powerful, one punch power than Wilder.
I think
just less. He's got great power.
Well,
he's got like great power.
He's the one with the power.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
He had like a knockout last year.
He's got power. He's also got skills to go 12.
Yes. And he has a gas tank.
To go 12, though. I really believe that.
Yes. And he has a gas tank. Sanchez is very good too, more technical, not as big a puncher. And I'm guessing the reason why is because he's got good movement, puts his punches together, decent hand speed. That's an interesting one that he's favored, but it is kind of a toss-up fight between 2 prospects that you don't get these fights no more. This is like old school, like Friday night fights or Wednesday night fights on USA back in the day when they used to just put like
4 heavyweight bouts. 4.
Yes, and so that Ajagba one is legit. Yeah, what you think, eh?
I think it's good. I like Sanchez, and I think you're right about as far as the power goes, but I think that he's more sound, and that's what's going to get it done. You know what I mean? Just being able to just.
You think Sanchez more sound?
Yeah, I think that he's going to be. I like him more as a boxer. I do think that I think the power goes the other way, but
Yeah.
I think that he can get it done just because he's more technically sound. But but hell of a fight.
Have we seen if Sanchez can take a shot? I haven't seen. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't tell you that, Raj. I'm be honest.
We don't know if he got a beard or not. But we about to find out.
We about to find out.
Well, this won't be the one again. If I'm predicting the fight that doesn't lack aggression, it'll be that one, right?
Yeah.
Between Frank Sanchez, and FA. Now, the one I'm gonna need your aficionado education on, fellas. Adam Konaki. Konaki. I might have to pronounce that right. And then I've seen Robert Helenius fight maybe once.
Yeah. That's the fight. Don't go to the bathroom. Don't go to the bar.
Yeah.
Sit down. Watch that one. That might be the fight of the night.
Fight of the night. Okay, we got, ladies and gentlemen, Roger has announced that the Kaunaki and Helenius fight will be possibly the fight of the night.
Yes.
You heard it here first.
And I'm gonna stay tuned because I've never seen either one of them. So
this is the second time they fighting.
Oh, okay.
First time
rematch.
Yeah, this is a rematch.
Yeah, okay.
The first one was a ridiculous upset. Kovnowski was basically what Sanchez was to BBC.
Got you.
Racked up a record, big punching heavyweight, punches like a middleweight in terms of volume. Now imagine he's a big dude.
Yeah.
He makes Tyson Fury look slim. Let's put it like that.
Damn.
Yeah.
Not
but
many
he's shorter,
doing that.
Chunkier. he's like what's his name? Dude that beat Joshua.
My man.
You talking about
Ruiz.
The Spanish
Ruiz.
dude?
He's like Andy Ruiz.
Andy
He got that
Ruiz.
Andy Ruiz
Andy
type
Ruiz,
body.
yeah.
He got Andy Ruiz type body.
Okay.
Crazy stamina for a dude that big. Throws like 70, 80 punches around. He's like, he throws a lot. He's not a typical heavyweight. Throws a lot. He was beating Helenius from pillar to post for like 4 or 5 rounds. And then Helenius cracked him with a right-hand counter that was clean on the chin, dropped him. He ended up trying to get back. He was trying to fight through it, but he was like in the fog. And eventually they stopped it. He was getting beat up.
Danny Garcia and Amir Khan all over again.
Yes.
Danny Garcia, man.
Yes, exactly.
That's
someone's gonna get knocked out in that fight. There's gonna be a lot of punches thrown. That's a great fight. I'm surprised that fight made this card strictly because that was a TV main event. So I know they have to be getting paid a good amount of money to be the second or third undercard.
Okay.
Yeah, this is legit. Yeah, this is the first.
Okay, here we go.
This dude just throws. His defense is like,
oh no, he's not a small guy at all.
No,
and he looks like already the aggressor.
Yeah, he throws. He just goes and he puts his punches together well. He lets them go.
Oh, this is a brawl. This is a brawler bout right here.
Yes,
this is a brawler bout right here. Okay,
trust me when I tell you,
don't
go to the bathroom for this fight.
Crowd friendly.
This is the one you
crowd
want to
friendly fight.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, do not get your buffalo chicken dip on this fight.
No, bring it with you.
Bring it with you. Bring it with you. Somebody might go early, but it's going to be a good one.
Yes.
Now, again, this is where I've done. I've watched Jared a little bit, the young pup, the young American, right? So they again in these fights, they will always showcase the next American star, right? At some point, right? That's just how boxing works. You got to promote the next American guy. Tell me, guys, is Jared Anderson the next guy?
I'm not sold. I got to see more. So this is like a step up for him.
Really?
Yeah, this is a big step up for him.
Let me give you he's a minus 1,500 favorite.
Yeah. This is a huge. And that tells you what kind of competition he'd been fighting.
Mm-hmm.
that they made a step up, and he's still this much of a favorite.
Mhm.
So this is basically an introduction to the mainstream fan. This is what they did with Wilder back in the day.
Yep.
Okay.
This is what they did with Wilder. They threw him on the undercard and was like, okay. So that's how he kind of started building up his reps. Like, oh, this dude's out here vaporizing dudes.
Yep.
Time to build.
Yeah, time to fight with the lights on.
For him.
Now turn the lights on.
No, I'm saying it's time for him to fight with the bright lights on now.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So Jared
that's
Anderson.
really that's really what these fights are for.
Yep.
When you have like these prospects, when you finally make the pay-per-view. So a lot of them, when you're like younger, you actually fight off pay-per-view. So you'll fight on that card, but but you won't be fighting on TV.
Yeah.
Oh man, he's 21 years old, man. 21.
Yeah.
21.
So a lot of people would like the thing with Boston is like when you watch a pay-per-view, you'll get 4 fights, but there'll be like 8 other fights before they start telling.
Because what they're starting to do now is they're starting to put those fights on like
Fox
or something like that before they start putting on the undercards that are going to be on the pay-per-view.
Exactly. Yep. So now you on the pay-per-view, more people are watching.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They see who
start building your
and start seeing if you could handle, like you said, if you can handle the bright lights, or if that, onset lemon booty kicks in.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So he should dominate. It's about how much he dominates. How good does he look? How good does he make you want to see him again? Right,
exactly. He's got to make the people want to see him more.
Yes.
I mean, so I think somebody said, if it wasn't in the comments, right? Something that I also just, again, in terms of just talking about the fight, I've already seen that people think Wilder could ultimately get a knockdown, right? Just get it. He could lose the fight almost similar to how he won it, where he gets a knockdown, but Fury's so in control of this damn thing, and just tagging him up that it's not even close.
If Wilder goes down, he's not getting up to knock him out.
Yeah.
If Fury goes down, he's got a chance to get up, make changes, make adjustments, and all of that.
Because we already seen him do that.
Right.
Let me throw some boxing bonus at you. I want to throw 2 questions at you. One, you guys, Aaron and Roger. And again, let me just reset. Again, welcome to the Sit and Talk Sports Podcast here on YouTube. Again, I'm Coach Smooth here with Roger and Aaron, our boxing aficionados, getting prepped and ready for this trilogy and huge card of a fight night tomorrow night. Fury versus Wilder. And again, a hell of a card under that we just went over. But in terms of just boxing, right, just want to throw a few things at you. What do you think of Edgar, right? Because I was just talking to him before I left work, just talking about Edgar. And I think he's special. But then maybe in conjunction with that, who do you think is the best, real pound for pound guy, just in your eyes and what you guys have seen between 2021, the COVID year, right? Who stands alone? And again, what do you think of Edgar? Because he's
Let's
just
go Berlanga first. Go ahead, A.
As far as Berlanga, kid is a problem, man. He throws fucking punches with bad intent. He's got some heavy hands. My thing with Berlanga. What's that?
He said he'll punch right through your gloves too.
Right. Yeah, them hands.
He knocked the dude out by doing that.
Yeah.
Them hands is heavy, bro. That's what, you know what? It's almost like Kevin Hart said, man, don't fuck with just anybody, man. I'm trying to warn these cats out in the street that think they tough. Like, it's just like Kevin Hart said in one of his stand-ups. These niggas look just like you and me, man. And they can fucking, like, their hands is registered weapons, man. This shit, like, that dude hits you. Woo! Like, for instance, like a guy, it's not to get too off subject, but a guy that like Kelly Pavlik,
Yes.
Some dude that you might see out in the street and just be like, man, this little white boy over here can't.
You
Man,
don't want no problems with Kelly.
Lanky, no chest.
You don't want no problems with Kelly.
But my thing with my one thing about Berlanga, which we did see it in his last fight. My concern was with him is that he was knocking people out so fast. When he had the streak going, and you couldn't really see what his stamina was like. So you wasn't able to see like, okay, is he gonna have this? Does he have what it takes? Does he have the stamina to go, 6, 7, 8 rounds? But we saw in his last fight, he was actually pushed. So the kid, I agree. He's special, man. So as far as
who's your guy, Aaron? Who's the guy that Aaron's got his eyes on? And if he had to just pick out and say, yo, I'll take him against all y'all.
Top pound for pound,
or
for
who you
me,
think is simply the best in the sport right now?
right now is I gotta say Canelo, man.
Okay.
Like I get it. He's getting a lot of heat for failed drug, for drugs, failing for drug tests and shit. Where it's like I get it, like, because people are like, oh man, get the fuck out of here. It ain't no state gonna poison. If you go to some countries, man, like some of the shit they put in their food, I mean, it does happen.
Specifically.
Yeah, I get it, but Canelo's a bad fucking dude, man. He really is, man. Like, I don't like if I'm thinking like I think the only dude I can that where I feel like if he took a fight where I'd be like, ooh, okay, is Benavidez. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's the only, you know what I mean? But or maybe the Charlos, you know what I'm saying? But
Charlos ain't got nothing for him.
Yeah, I got Canelo, and then underneath, like just beneath him, who's gonna get his real first test? I got Bud Crawford.
You got Bud.
I got him slightly ahead of Errol Spence because I feel like he's just a better boxer than Errol Spence is, and I'm not taking nothing away from Errol Spence at all. I just feel like Bud Crawford, like if he's better at adjusting, he can do more. But those would be my top. Canelo, without a doubt, man.
Canelo, no joke, man. But I'm with you on Bud. Bud can adjust almost to any style you throw at him.
Right.
Throw any fighter at Bud. I feel confident that he doesn't get thrown off by what he does.
Yeah.
Have we seen Crawford? I can't think of off the top of my head. Like, I'm trying to run down his opponent list. Have we seen Crawford go against anybody that will rough you up like Porter, that will bury his head in your chest?
No.
I don't think so either.
Like a lot of
going back to 135. I don't think
Porter's built different, man. He's just built different, yo.
when that fight got announced in the group, a lot of people were like, "Yo, Porter gonna get knocked out." I'm like, I'm not sure y'all watch boxing, man. If that's
no.
Porter's tough.
He's not. I would bet money that he doesn't get knocked. I would actually bet that.
I had Porter winning that fight against Spence, man. Like, I don't get it twisted.
I don't know about that, Aaron. I don't know there. I don't know.
They could have gone,
I had him 116, 112 too. I'm sorry, 115, 113.
You had him winning the fight too, Raj?
I did.
Yeah, man.
I feel like he didn't get the credit for his body punching.
Yeah.
That like it's not as flashy, right? But I feel like let's put it this way: when the fight was over, I felt like Errol Spence was happier that it was over than Porter.
Yep. Porter's a dog, man.
I could see that, but I also think I think Spence is a master at not showing how punches affect him and just not letting certain punches affect him.
Yeah.
I don't think he was affected. Just again, me personally, I don't think he was affected one bit by the body shots. I just thought that's all a part of him trying to square up and land his shots like he normally does. And he did that. He did enough of
Yeah.
that to win the fight. And I don't want to take that away from Errol, but I'm with y'all. Porter is as cold a competitor as it comes, and I think that's going to be a much better fight than people think. I just think,
hell yeah, that's gonna be really good.
I just think Bud will be ready for that style, and he'll adjust.
I mean, he's a technician, right? He's a technician. But I'm gonna say this though, even though I thought Porter won, I won't argue if you thought Errol Spence won.
Exactly.
Like, there were like 4 or 5 swing rounds in that where it's like they're like this much off, and you could pick either one.
It could have went either way, just like the first Triple G Canelo fight. The first Triple G Canelo fight, same shit.
Yeah.
Listen, we'll be on here talking all night. We talk about that first Triple G fight. Him and Canelo. My God.
Absolutely.
Raj, who do you got in terms of what's your thoughts on my man Edgar and who do you got in terms of like just best pound for pound? So with Berlanga, maybe even throw me in a rising star that I'm not even like.
I got you. I got a couple guys that that the person that doesn't watch a ton of boxing, that go find them when they fight, sit down. But to Berlanga, I pretty much echo everything Aaron said. Berlanga has a chance to be an absolute problem.
Mm-hmm.
He is going to determine how big he becomes, or if he falls below expectations of. I mean, he set crazy expectations as it is.
Yep.
And by that I mean, it happens a lot with big punchers. When you have dynamite, and he has and like Wilder has dynamite in his right hand, Berlanga has dynamite down to his pinky fingers on both
down
hands.
To everything.
He punches equally as hard with his left as he does with his right, and he's technically sound.
Yep.
He throws a jab, right hand, smashing left hook. He'll throw to the body. When he remembers, he'll throw to the body. But it happens a lot with young power punchers. They want to knock your head off, right? But that's the next progression as they step up his competition.
Body punches is where it's at.
Body punches is gonna be where it's at, because if you hitting dudes to the face that hard, as a dude that has done a lot of sparring or whatever, I've never been knocked out. I've been buzzed, all of that. I had a pretty good chin, right? I still spar when I get a chance, but I got a pretty good chin. I don't really worry about my chin. I've sparred with like dudes like George Foreman's son, who's 16-0 with 16 knockouts, knocked dudes out. I've eaten some of his stuff. He hits hard. A couple of pros, Kevin Cobbs, that hit hard. Shout out to Kevin Cobbs. I don't know if he's in the group. I should bring him. I gotta get him into the group. He's another dude, brilliant. But those, like, you get hit to the face, you build up a tolerance, a lot of guys, for that, right? You can have good chin, whatever. There's no such thing, like, there's a granite chin, there's no granite body.
Do you have? Is there such a thing as a granite rib cage?
No. Dude, I tell people all the time.
Rhetorical question.
Punch me to the face 50 times. Do not hit me with one clean body shot. I don't like it.
Yeah, as Oscar De La Hoya.
Yes.
Bernard Hopkins.
Dude, your life leaves your body, and you have nothing to do with it.
Yep.
You can't help it. Nothing. It just goes. Your legs disappear. It's a wrap. And if Berlanga learns, which is the same thing that Gennady Golovkin had to do midway through his career, when he started incorporating body work, it was a wrap. It was a wrap.
Because when you're tired, especially when your opponent is tired and you land that body shot, ooh.
Dude, when dudes get tired, they tend to cover up and duck, which means your elbows come forward.
Yep.
You expose your ribs, you expose your liver, and that's the one, the liver shot, the clean liver shot, or when you get hit in the lat right behind, like right around your shoulder blade, between your shoulder blade and your armpit. Those
father
just shut
was
your body down.
Yeah,
It's a
my
wrap.
father was the first one to bring me to a boxing gym, and that's one of the first things he told me. Exactly what you just said. They gonna have their guard up over their face. They ain't covering up that body,
Yep.
and that's where you start putting some coins in the bank.
Yes.
He said there's that
Absolutely.
body shots.
Absolutely. And that's what the big, like the truly dominant power punchers, they never forget. They go to the body. It's religious to them. They'll get you upstairs, but as they progress in their career, they hit the middle of their career, they add that. Joe Frazier, George Foreman, Tyson obviously had it from the beginning.
Yep.
De La Hoya had a great left hook, and he also threw it downstairs as he progressed in his career. Julio Cesar Chavez, like these dudes broke you. They break your body. You know what I'm saying? Berlanga can do that, and that will make him a star if he does that.
Right. Yep.
That will make him a superstar if he adds that and commits to it.
Right. Great point, because he being young, he's definitely a headhunter. But you're absolutely right.
Yes. And he has it like he'll break ribs with that.
Oh yeah. Oh
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? So he's got that. Now, going back to the pound for pound thing, I agree with you. Canelo's the best fighter in the world. His resume is second to none. I'll take it a step further. Floyd's great, Pacquiao's great, all these dudes. When it's all said and done, when you look at strength of competition, strength of wins.
Yep.
I smell a hot take. I smell it.
Right.
Canelo,
I know what's coming.
is approaching them already, and he just turned 30.
Yep.
He's close. He's close. The thing with Floyd, most of his top stuff was done at 130, where he's fighting like the prime guys. He got a couple when he was later, but like the top names, they got them later. Pacquiao, also later in his career, also same thing.
Yep, definitely
but
later in his
at
career.
130, he beat in like a 5-fight stretch. He beat 3 Hall of Famers at their peak.
Yep.
Morales, Barrera, and Marquez.
Yep.
Right. So at their peak,
impressive
weights,
too.
height of their powers, all top 10 pound for pound when he beat them. Right. Canelo's doing that now.
Yeah.
Canelo's doing that. He's knocking off champions after champions. He's gotten some older dudes too. Got Kovalev older, whatever, to get the belt in the upper weight class, whatever. But like he's like whoever's the title guys, I'm running through him.
Yeah.
That's impressive, man. What he's doing is impressive. No one's fighting competition like him, chasing competition.
Yeah, true.
You know what I'm saying? So if some people will bring up, CV Nation, they'll bring up Boo Boo Andrade, but I don't think Boo Boo got anything for him, to be real.
Yeah.
I'd be rooting for my countrymen, all of that, but he ain't giving you the fight for a reason. Like you ain't it right now.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Plant fight. I do like it.
Yeah, I do too.
Caleb gotta bring his fucking A+ game.
Plus.
Right.
Plus. Because Canelo, after he fought Floyd, he learned to cut the ring off. He fought Floyd too early, but that's money. That's how money works. Those two were the biggest money makers at the time. He just caught it. It was like Tyson. Tyson was the biggest money maker, even though he had the belts or whatever, but he was still young. He was still green. He hadn't fought anybody, but he was an attraction. So when the opportunity's there to make the money, you got to take it. Because it's a fight game. Anything could happen. It's a wrap.
Yep.
One bad night, it's a wrap. Right?
Absolutely.
So Canelo took the money and he fought Floyd. He did decent, but lost comfortably. Learned from it, came back. And then when he got with other dudes that like to move, Amir Khan, look what happened. Billy Joe Saunders, who made David Lemieux, who was another ridiculous power puncher. He was Berlanga before Berlanga.
Yep.
A Canadian dude named David Lemieux.
Yep, I remember Lemieux.
Yep. Who Golovkin destroyed too.
Yep.
But before Golovkin destroyed him, he fought Billy Joe Saunders, and Billy Joe Saunders made him look silly. With movement, footwork, made him look stupid. Right?
And it's funny because
just destroyed Billy Joe Saunders, broke his face literally.
Yeah. Because it's funny that you're saying these things, because those guys, like there's certain guys that, like, in my opinion, like we talked about it with Wilder. How Wilder's he hits hard and he can change the fight with one punch, but he doesn't have the technical skill to stay up with some of these guys. Now now when you got somebody like Canelo who actually can hit hard and he's got the skills, because I had Canelo losing that fight to Amir Khan before he knocked the snot out of him.
Me too.
You know what I mean? Like
when
that's
he timed
the
him, it was a wrap.
Yep, that's the difference. Same thing with Billy Joe Saunders. Billy Joe Saunders was starting to look good in that fight.
Yeah.
Canelo's power and the way he's able to adjust. You know what I mean?
And Caleb Plant is going to need to keep him off of him.
Yes. And he didn't help himself by pissing him off. Like Caleb Plant is talking big shit.
Yes.
Big shit. I'm like, yo, Caleb, man, you better be ready to fucking fight, bro.
Yo, hey, tell me, has anybody learned and implemented the word motherfucker as beautifully as Canelo has in the last couple of years?
He gotta learn that. He gotta learn though. We ain't nobody dissing your mom when they say that, bro.
You know,
he was like, yo, man, you can't talk about my mom. He's like, yo, man, you're not talking about your mom, man.
He ready to fight right now.
Mom when you called him a motherfucker, man.
Seriously,
he's ready to fight right now.
But yeah, that's the thing with Canelo. So again, I have Canelo, Terrence Crawford right behind him also. So the other dudes that a lot of people may not know just yet.
Hold on, before you get into that, let me ask you a question real quick. I don't know if you follow Andre Ward on IG, but do you get the feeling? I don't know if I'm alone on this. Do you get the feeling that Ward might try to fight Canelo?
I hope not.
Yeah, I get the feeling because I get the feeling like he's been putting up some kind of cryptic post on IG lately.
And I just hope it's a teaser and he don't do
Andre, Dre, don't do it to yourself, partner.
I'm not saying that he don't got a shot.
Yeah,
he's Andre freaking Ward. He's one of the most brilliant fighters of his generation.
Right.
Roger, I'm going to ask you a black and white question. Does Andre Ward beat Canelo tomorrow?
No.
Okay. All right. That's all. I just wanted.
He's been away too long. He's been away too long.
No, absolutely not.
All right, sorry to interrupt. I just had to ask that.
That's cool. No, that's actually good that you brought. I forgot about that. Yeah, but tell Dre to stay in the booth. He's really good at it.
Yeah, he is.
He's really good at it. His career is impeccable. Leave it be. The resume was beautiful. Just ended on a high note.
Let it go.
Good.
Right.
Don't risk it. But yeah. So the next up guy is actually he's fought on ESPN a few times. That's the Japanese dude, Naoya Inoue.
So he's it. So here's he's been here. He's been here, but he's just now reaching stardom.
Yes.
Is this that kind of stardom where he's like, I mean, box office, like
based on fighting, he's box office. He's box office right now.
Oh, he's a real deal. Don't get it twisted.
Pacquiao was starting to become box office when he started. Pacquiao, because he came in, he was just fighting all these dogs, like absolute Hall of Famers in their prime, all that. But he still wasn't getting mainstream notoriety. He was getting boxing circle notoriety. It wasn't until he fought De La Hoya that his like mainstream star became big.
Yeah, that's when the stock rose. And then it's unfortunate too because like you said, all his good shit was before that.
Right. But he's a smaller guy. It's not the appeal in America.
Right. Heavyweight.
And what it comes down to is this. It sucks to say, but generally speaking, Americans don't know shit about boxing for the most part. As over like
good point, Raj.
So people say dumb shit in America like boxing's dead, blah blah blah. It's like, well, go take a trip to Europe.
Yeah, right. Go to Europe.
Germany, go to England.
Go to Japan. Right? Go to Japan and say that.
Japan. Like
Japan and say that.
Boxing is massive. It's just the fact that we have so many sports here that boxing's like on a back burner. We just don't respect fighters like that.
Well, I think it also has to do with the fact that everybody it's everybody wants the heavyweight division to be popping, and if it's not, they just write boxing off. And I'm like, bro, the welterweight and middleweight and you
gotta be special. You gotta be special as a speaker to make it in America as a
boxer
star, as a fighter.
Good point.
You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta entertain the masses with your mouth, generate Whereas
you gotta talk Europe, like
Japan, these are enough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they like when you string 2-3 of these together, or you just go on a crazy win streak and blah blah blah. They'll do it for you. You don't need to tell them how great you are. They say it for you. In America, you gotta tell us if you're great. Yeah. Then we gotta follow you to see if you're great.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the time we think you're great, you're generally older, and then you're afraid because of American, like the way we treat people. It's wins and losses, blah blah blah, and all of that. And the way it is now, if you lose one time, they throw you out to pasture. Now you ain't shit anymore.
Yep.
Where it's not. It couldn't be further from the truth.
Right.
It's the fight game. Shit happens.
It's the fight game.
You ain't great.
It's the fight game.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a beautiful thing about this game, man.
Yeah.
It is, it's a real game. So that's probably that is probably the next guy. I'm gonna ask you again. I'm gonna throw out my last real boxing question, because I think, and I read it in a couple of blogs, but I've also seen just on my own thread a couple of videos just throwing out Ryan Garcia as the guy who's had the breakout year, right? Does Ryan Garcia reach the stardom that he's projected to?
He can, because he's a good-looking kid. He's a great fighter. As of right now, he's a great fighter. Like, we got to see him really step up. He's every time he stepped up, he's came to the forefront. He's passed the test. He got knocked down in his last fight. He got up, knocked the dude out, right? He still has a lot to improve. He's got like footwork stuff to improve. He's in Canelo's camp. So they got the punching stuff down, but he needs to get the technical stuff down, the defensive stuff down that it took Canelo some time. But he's only like, what, 22, 23, something like that? He's like stupid young.
Yeah, he's young, yeah.
So he can be a like star, De La Hoya type star, right? Because he's marketable.
Yep.
Cool, young. Yep. He's Mexican, which brings with it a crazy amount of fans.
Yep.
Notoriety. People gonna put money behind that. He can be that. But he's in competition with other dudes too for the American spotlight, like Tank. I don't see Shakur.
Does he get to that spotlight without going through Tank?
Nah.
No.
All right.
But
so
here's the problem
there's the
too.
question. There's the question.
Here's the problem too. Tank ain't that. They promote him as if he's that, but he ain't that.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want y'all to hear my man Raj. Raj just told y'all. This is why I say this boxing thing is, we got some guys that know some stuff. To the naked eye, everybody thinks Tank is that. Raj says Tank is not that.
Yet. He could be, but I'm not sold yet.
Yeah,
because he hasn't beaten anybody worth saying that to put him at that stature, right?
What's his name?
Shakur?
No. The guy, the not the last guy that Tank beat, the guy before. I can't. His name escapes me. Mexican cat. Damn.
The dude that he went up to 140 to beat,
and he knocked him out. Santa Cruz.
You talking about
Leo Santa Cruz,
the Mexican dude that moved up from 126.
Leo Santa Cruz.
Leo Santa Cruz, yeah.
That was impressive to me.
Yes.
But I think you're right though. I like Tank. And I think Tank beats beats Garcia, but he's got some work to do too. Without question. He's got some work to do.
Yeah, so Tank got work to do.
He got a lot of work to do.
The kid can fight. Don't get it twisted. He got some work.
So here's the problem, right? And it happens with a lot, especially in that stable. It happens a lot, and it does happen with top ranked guys too. But I feel like more so in that stable is that they build the star. They try to build a star without the meat behind it.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So they just be like, "Yo, he's knocking everybody out. We put him on pay-per-view. He's a pay-per-view star." But it's like, nah, yeah, you got some people to watch it, and just because you put him on pay-per-view, don't mean he's that guy.
Right.
You just put him on pay-per-view. Some people watch it because that's what was there to watch. But he hasn't passed any tests, if you will, yet.
Okay.
Right.
You know
But
what I'm
I feel
saying?
like that's what a lot. But you're right. That's what a lot of these promoters are doing now. They're protecting their stars because they want them to be undefeated.
Yes, because the problem is he's in a bad division, a bad area to be doing that too. Because right in there, you got Teofimo Lopez, who went up with Lomachenko, who have both beat. Well, Teofimo beat the best competition with Lomachenko.
They don't want the Lopez smoke. That's my take.
No, he don't want the Lopez smoke. He don't want the Lomachenko smoke. He don't want the Ryan Garcia smoke. He don't want the Devin Haney smoke. Well, I'm not gonna say he don't. His people don't. I'm not never gonna say a fighter's scared. His people don't want to risk him with them.
I ain't sold. See the way some of you guys feel about Haney. I the way you guys feel about Tank, I feel about Haney.
About Devin Haney.
Yeah, I feel about Haney. I feel like he's just scratching the surface, but like just because he's won that's an actual title bout doesn't mean he's the guy.
He's in the same boat, but the fact is they don't promote him as the superstar. They actually promote him as the guy that wants to get all these dudes.
You're absolutely right about that.
So they're not jumping the gun with him. They've jumped the gun 30 times when it comes to Tank because they're already saying he's the best, blah, blah, blah. Like if you listen to everybody else, listen to them talk. When you hear Lomachenko, he was calling out Tank for like 2-3 years. His people wanted nothing to do with Lomachenko. You look at Teofimo Lopez, he was chasing Lomachenko when no one wanted no parts of Lomachenko.
Right, he's running them down. Like
yes, Devin
like,
Haney wants all of them. Devin Haney wants all of them. Ryan Garcia's like, I know I need a couple more fights before I'm there, but I know it's coming. Tank's like, I'm already here, and the rest of them are like, no, you ain't, because we're looking for you.
Man, listen, Tank. Again,
he want to win the title without having to go through the playoffs.
Perfect example, right? And
you know what I'm saying?
I think Tank is that. Like I think he's the guy that, again, barring anything crazy, should be able to beat most of the guys that we named. But
potentially,
potentially. But boxing is that, you know, it's such a evolution sport.
Yeah.
6 months from now, we could be looking at a guy like Haney that is really ready.
Yeah. Or Shakur Stevenson, who's on his way too. That might be even better than all of them.
It's a great I won't say it's a great division, but I'll say it's a division with potential.
Yeah,
with huge
potential.
You
just don't want that. You don't want that area between 126 to 135. You just don't want that area, for lack of a better term. You don't want that to turn into the solar system, whereas everything's perfectly placed apart in the solar system, and they all rotate. Nothing crashes into each other.
Got you.
You don't want that. You want some of these planets start crashing into each other.
We want action.
You know what I'm saying?
We want action. No, this is good, man. I appreciate guys. Not everybody can just get into the sport, but trust me when I tell you, Raj and Aaron are as insightful as they come when it comes to our boxing discussions, our MMA discussions, anything in the realm of battle. Again, those are my go-tos. Like, because I feel like I know the sport. And some of the history of the sport, but I damn sure don't know all, and I know who to go to, and it's these guys. So I definitely appreciate them in that regard. And really, like, this is it's our first boxing show. Certainly won't be our last. But again, we won't dumb it down to just boxing all the time. Like we've got NBA. Coming right up. We're right into the thick of the football season. NFL, and again, please follow. Please follow the Sit and Talk Sports podcast on YouTube. Please subscribe. Also follow us on Facebook, Sit and Talk. Also follow us on Instagram for Sit and Talk Sports. And again, it's just been a pleasure, man. Wilder and Fury tomorrow night, 9 p.m. I think it starts. That's when the card starts.
Yep.
Raj.
Yep. Like 9. Yeah, like 9 or 10 o'clock the latest. But I think it's 9.
9 o'clock, I believe. All the festivities starts.
And Berlanga is going to be fighting on ESPN, if I'm not mistaken,
yes,
in the afternoon.
Yeah. Right.
So check that out. Don't miss that.
I had to make sure I got that right. He's fighting not on that card, but also fighting that same day.
Yeah, he's fighting. Yep.
If you haven't seen Berlanga, I know we've been talking about him, but he's special.
Yeah.
And really, like, I saw him punch through gloves, and the dude went to the ground.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, he's it. But again, Wilder and Fury tomorrow night, 9 o'clock. And again, tap in with us at Sit and Talk Sports, man. Again, we'll be going over also on Clubhouse. I don't want to forget that. Please and shout out to Raj. Raj pulled up on us. I moderate a number of rooms on Clubhouse for Sit and Talk. We've had some great discussion on football, basketball.
Appreciate that. That was dope.
Nah, it was dope. It was dope that you pulled up too, man, because just as you left, it got heavy.
Oh, what?
Oh no, listen, as the night goes on, trust me, this thing can go into the wee hours if you let it.
Nice.
And again, it's all insightful stuff by a number of insightful people. But then there's also obviously some passionate people that I'll just say just passionate.
Everybody's
you got a dose, Raj. You got a dose.
I peeped.
So, but nah, I appreciate you pulling up, man. And this was dope, man. I'll definitely love doing this again. Shout out to DC. Shout out to Mills. Shout out to Wiz for bringing this together. Shout out to Aaron again. Shout out to Kev Black. Kev, we missed you this time. We'll definitely catch up with you next time.
For sure.
And please, y'all, tune in to Fight Night. We'll be back to recap everything, including the card. Again, I am your co-host, Coach Smooth. Shout out to Roger. Shout out to Aaron. Shout out to Kev Black, DC, C Mills, and Wiz. Shout out to everybody. And it's been a pleasure, man. We are signing off.
Sorry, fellas, my phone died, man. But
all good, brother.
No, you good, man.
On with y'all, man.
No, thank you, man.
Pleasure, brother.
Thank you, Aaron.
Raj,
Aaron.
man. Yo, keep doing what you do, man. You got that knowledge, bro.
Man, listen, Raj is it. Raj gonna be on there with Kellerman soon enough.
Word. And it's just like you were saying, man. Not a lot of people know shit about boxing, man. So it's nice to get on with both of y'all, man.
Not a lot of people can just talk like really talk.
Mm-hmm.
Just the ins and outs of boxing, and I don't even consider myself as that, right? So that's why I would love to bounce all this stuff off the likes of you, Aaron, Raj, Kev, and others that really have that insight into the fight game. Because again, this ain't NFL, this ain't weekly NFL, this ain't Steph Curry and LeBron, right? Like this is different, and I can appreciate it. So. Again, Sit and Talk signing off with Raj and Aaron. It's been our pleasure. And again, we'll see you on Fight Night. Enjoy Fight Night, folks.
Yes,
and we'll see you again. Signing off.